Hello and welcome to the final episode of the Tampa Bay Arts Passport podcast for 2025. What a wild and wonderful journey this has been. Thank you for listening to all of these conversations. Today I'm super excited to have our first repeat guest on, Clareann Despain from Powerstories, the artistic director. I've got to know Clareann a lot more this year, and I'm so glad to have this conversation with her to share the work that Powerstories is doing. I think you are definitely going to want to fully take this in because Clareann is going to talk about really give a full preview of 2026 as we wrap up 2025 and talk about what this last year has meant for her and for this community. And I think this is going to be a fantastic episode. So please continue to like, follow, subscribe to the Arts Passport as we continue to do more work in the year going forward. And thank you for listening. And I hope you enjoy this conversation. All right. Hello and welcome, Clareann. Oh my gosh. So I told you this before we started, but you have the honor of being the first repeat guest on the Tampa Bay Arts Passport podcast.
I am honored and nervous.
Literally, there's no reason to be nervous. You're so good at this.
Oh, you're really kind.
I'm serious. I always love talking with you. It's a lovely treat.
I think you're easy to talk to. So, yeah, you make it enjoyable. That's
easy is my nickname. So.
That was mine in college, too.
God. I knew we were connected in a way.
I knew. Now everyone knows. Hi, Mom.
So last time we talked, we were talking with Erica Sutherland about the collaboration between the Studio 620 and Powerstories for Cadillac Crew, which we just wrapped up. Woo-hoo. It was fantastic.
Such a good run.
And now, we're going to talk about a lot of things, but I want to talk about Powerstories 2026 year, because you just finished your 25th anniversary season.
Yes, we did, and it was thrilling.
Yeah. How are you feeling? What was that like to finish 25 years?
Well, I have to confess, right? I've got a couple years with Powerstories, but I have the honor of working with Fran Powers, our founder, who started this 25 years ago. And she's grown it into this beautiful, small professional theater that focuses on women, telling women's stories and telling true stories. And it's at the core of it, right, is the belief that everyone's story is really important, and that our stories sustain us and build us. And so to see this organization at 25 years is just a testament to how much the community values story and women's stories. Yeah. So it's really thrilling.
I also think, and I'm just going to say my piece, I think there's something poetic that your 25th anniversary came in a year where truth maybe wasn't always the most valuable thing, and women weren't the most valuable thing. And so I think it's so incredible that Powerstories is showing up, doing this work to tell true female stories right now.
Yes, you actually have just lifted language that I use sometimes when I'm introducing Powerstories in a cold email. I say this is an arts organization that focuses on truth and women in an environment that values none of those things. Yep. And that's not going to stop.
Nope.
In fact, when Powerstories started, women and girls were in the mission statement. And then for a while, women and girls came out of the mission statement. And then maybe you all can put this together. In November of 2024, for some reason, we were inspired to put women and girls back in the mission, to double down on that, because it felt like time.
I have so many thoughts and feelings, and I just feel like that moment has to sit for a minute of I would hope that we're past a point where we have to explicitly say that women value in this community, in this society. But you know what? We do have to say it.
We do. We have to say it, and we have to say it as many ways as we can think of. And of course, the the most powerful way to say it is through a story.
It's through a story.
Yeah.
And through that shared connection. And that's what y'all do. And I love it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to talk about your season, but I also want to give you a chance to talk about your journey coming to Powerstories, because you weren't always artistic director, and you've had a really amazing career that I don't know if we always get to talk about. So maybe just share a little bit about how you came to Powerstories and what you want to share like up to that point.
Sure.
I know that's not the conversation you were totally
it's
prepared
not, but that's
for.
okay.
Talk about yourself for a little bit.
Well, all right, if you insist. Gosh, how far back do you want to go, Avery? I told the story this morning at a staff meeting, and we may as well start there, right? Theater literally saved my life when I was in high school. It was, I was the weird kid, or rather, as the polite adults say, creative, but that's just code for weird kid. And I found my weird kids in the theater group. I'm still friends with a number of those people to this day. And that was a long time ago, folks. I'm turning 50 next year. And then I went to college. Yeah, you're going to get the whole thing. You asked for it.
I love it.
You asked for it. I went to college and I started out as an English major. I thought I wanted to be a writer. And then I got a job at the Roadhouse on the campus as student crew. And I started ditching my English classes to take gigs there. And I was like, I better change my major before I lose my scholarship. So I did. Yeah, and I did that for a while. And then I stage managed professionally. That's how I made my living for a long, long time. But I always wanted to direct. So me and Daisy Egan, that is for people from way, way back, she says, staring down the camera. If you get that, then you saw the same Today's Show appearance I saw as a teenager. Yeah, you might want to edit that out. That's like a deep cut for maybe nobody.
No, I love it.
Anyway, so yeah, and I did some of that along the way, but it was really when I got to Tampa, and now here comes the part of our story that gets a little bit sad. I came to Tampa after I finished my PhD because my husband owned a house here. And it was like, all right, where are we going to go for the national job search? And we got here, and shout out to Gail Sadler. I went in for a sinus infection, and she caught what was ultimately thyroid cancer. And fortunately, it's generally highly survivable and highly treatable. I'm free. Woo woo. But it made me really reevaluate what I wanted. And so I sat with that for a bit, and I realized that what I really wanted to do was be in there, be in the room. And create and tell those stories. And so I started to do that here in the Tampa Bay area, also while getting in, still stage managing some. Like I did the Nutcracker at the Straz for like 10 years, which was a dream come true. I have loved that. I have loved the Nutcracker since I was a little kid. It was the first piece of music I responded to as a baby. Yeah. So I love doing that. I did that. I produced some other things at the Straz for a while. Very briefly, there was a program called Straz Produced. I was ultimately the producing artistic director there for Straz Produced until they shut that down. And about the time that program was going away, Fran and I had been talking for several years. Now we're catching up to your actual question. Had been talking for several years about the possibility of me working with Powerstories. I remember my first meeting with Fran because someone was like, you should check this out. This is right up your alley because feminist, just am, just always have been. And someone was like, you should check this out. And so I reached out and we had a conversation. And this was pre-pandemic. And we had a conversation and I walked away going, I really want to work with her. I love her energy. I love her vision. And we just clicked. And so there were a couple of little things, that we'd worked together on. But then it was, I don't know. Time is soup. I don't know what year it was. Anyway, Fran would periodically reach out and she'd say, hey, are you still interested in working with Powerstories? And I would be like, yeah, whatever your timeline is, that's all good. Yeah. And finally it was the right time. It was the right time for both of us, and Fran asked me to join, and I am so happy. I am so happy doing this work. It fulfills me deeply, right? It's the reason I love storytelling, is to tell these stories, and to do it in a way that is really unapologetic about how important women's contributions are, and to have these conversations, to keep talking about it, to connect people. Like, that is, right, I'm getting little goosebumps because I love it so much. Yeah, she's still a weird kid.
No, I think that's such an incredible journey, and I always appreciate when people tell their story, because I think sometimes we do forget that it's not just like, oh, I saw a job posting and I applied, especially in the arts, a job posting and I applied and now I'm an artistic director. Congratulations.
Right.
Like, it is such a long journey sometimes, especially when you work to find a place that you really do feel is the right alignment for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's never the path you think it's going to be.
Never.
Right.
Never.
Right. You're just
and then
keep
you
trying
look back
stuff.
and you're like, oh, now I understand why I had to go through that little journey to get here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But of course you don't know it while you're in it.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. And even when you arrive, that's still a whole new journey.
Yes.
So, yeah.
All right. I want to talk about 2026 and what Powerstories has in store. So I'll just turn the microphone over to you. Run us through, what are y'all doing in 2026?
I am so excited for 2026. So just to keep people listening a little longer, I'm not going to announce the shows. I'm going to talk a little bit about some other things that are coming up in 2026. Yeah, because that's good, right? The longer they're listening, the better it is for you. Okay, good. So we're super excited about 2026. A couple of things that we've done in the past that are coming back. We're going to be relaunching our Girl Stories leadership program. That'll happen in this summer. And that focuses on middle school age girls, which is such a critical time for humans and girls especially. And that is an opportunity for girls through the various processes and exercises of theater to develop their own voice, to tell their own story, and to lay the foundation to become future leaders. So we're bringing that back. We had a little hiatus in 2025, but we know that right now is a critical time for girls everywhere. And so we're really excited to get back to that. And you can hear more about that as we know more, as we tell you more.
Welcome to the arts. We'll tell you as soon as we know.
We'll tell you as soon as we know. We haven't set dates, but it's usually over the summer. We're also bringing back, and this is just about my favorite thing in the world. We are bringing back the Voices of Women Theater Festival. This will be our 6th year doing it. And we are currently in the process of reading submissions for that. We have a committee that looks through all of that. So we're getting ready to figure out which plays we're bringing, and we bring 2 full-length plays that get to undergo a development process. And then this year we're doing something a little bit different. We've got an evening of short plays, which we've done in the past, but this time we're focusing on local authors, local playwrights, because we know we've got several here. And we want folks to develop their stories and develop their voice. And that's really what the Voices of Women Theater Festival is about, is helping women, right, step into the stories they want to tell. And we know that most theater audiences, most of the ticket buyers for theater are women. But
I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
Come on, Avery. Say it.
Most of the work we produce in Tampa Bay is written by men.
And not just Tampa Bay. Nationally,
yes.
Nationally.
Yeah.
So, and of course, so that's something we want to see change. Yep. And this is how we help. Right? We help the pipeline. We help change it. We help women develop these things. And so that's something we really love. And that will be, March 12th through 15th 2026, and we're going to be doing it in partnership with the HCC Ybor Theater Department. So yeah, like keep an eye out because those are going to be really thrilling, and it's an opportunity for the community to participate, right, in helping change things. So yeah, so that's Voices of Women. I love new work development, particularly for women plus playwrights. And something else we're doing is we've got a 40 plus category because that's the least produced. Are women 40 plus and the ones who represent most of the ticket buyers. So we're really looking to expand
I love it.
and create it. So that's I took you on a little ride, but we can start to talk about 2026 now, if you like, the season, what we call our season of shows. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of background.
Okay.
Do you want that?
Yes, please.
Or do you want to ask about it after I say the titles?
No.
Okay.
Tell me the story, because I'd love to know, like, what the thought process was behind the shows. Yeah. We got time. Lay it out.
All right. And then you can edit as need be. So as we were talking about 2026, we were looking around at the world. And we were thinking about, most importantly, what does our community need? What are they going to need from us as artists, as storytellers, to sort of contend with what's going on? And really, in our conversations, I was like, look, when I get home, when I am looking for a break, I just want to watch Bake Off, right? That's about all I can handle.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't even seen the second season of Andor because I don't know if I can take it. So we thought about that, right? But Powerstories, right, isn't going to do the next big Broadway musical, right, or the next goofy comedy, right? That's not our DNA. However, as we were talking about it, what we realized is that also in our DNA is looking for things that are uplifting and inspiring. I keep thinking about Life is Beautiful, if folks remember that film. Gosh, I'm all the ancient references today. What you gonna do? Anyway, I'm not gonna go into Life is Beautiful, but if you know it, you know it. And it's, but it is about the power of art and silliness in dark times. And so that's kind of been in my head. And so where we landed was that we wanted to find stories that still matter, that still speak about women's contributions, but also that inspire, right? And that help remind us that in spite of dark times, there are bright spots, right? And initially I pitched, bright spots as a season theme, and we decided that was kind of terrible marketing-wise. So it's like, but that is really sort of the heartbeat, is what are some bright spots? Because we need those. We need to remember that we've had them, and that we can have them again, and that we can create them. So where we landed on a theme was for the greater good. So that's really what we've been thinking about, is the stories that we're telling in 2026, and they're varied, are explore, right, what it means to engage with the community for the greater good. So we're really attached to that right now. And I'm really excited about it. We're really excited about it. Because I think it's what we need.
Yeah.
We need to remember what it is to come together for the greater good. Totally. And to do that with joy. Not just like, okay, we're doing our chores, taking our medicine. No, that that this can be a joyous thing. Something that's lovely to see at protests are people in unicorn costumes, right? We have to remember it was Emma Goldman, and this is apocryphal. The quote is not exactly right. But the best one is she's like, well, it's not my revolution if I can't dance. You know? And that's like, you know, you gotta love a Jewish anarchist. You know? Good old Emma Goldman. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's sort of the big idea.
Okay.
And the thinking behind it.
Which I think is so valuable right now. You know, and I love what you said. Because, like, I think sometimes in the arts, we, like, the debate between escapism versus, like, conversation and really challenging. And, like, I think we live in a time where there has to be a middle ground.
Yes.
Because, like, I personally feel like I am under attack every day. You know, like no matter how you identify who you are, just the world is a heavy place right now. And I'm not saying that everything needs to just be escapism, but like there can be bright spots, moments of joy that still reflect on what is going on around us, but having those inspirational moments. So that's so exciting to me. And I think the community is going to resonate with it. And it's something that we all need. So kudos to you and the team for really rallying around that idea.
Oh, thank you so much. And I really hope it does resonate with the community, because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
That's why we're here, is to offer something beautiful to our community, something that helps sustain them, something that lifts them up. That's why we exist.
Yeah.
That's why we're always saying, come see the shows, is because we want to connect.
Yeah.
Right? We want to connect with you, and this is how we do it. Yeah. So, yeah.
Are there titles you want to share?
Yes.
I know, like, full transparency, we're in November, recording this for December, so there's still some things in the works, but what do you feel comfortable sharing?
Well, let me tell you. Okay, so our first title is Predictor by Jennifer Blackmer. And we will be performing at Stageworks July.
Okay, look at the notes.
Let me
You're
consult my
fine.
notes. Let me consult. July 17th through 26th. We just locked that in, just at the tail end of last week. Those dates, and we're really, really excited about this. This piece has never been published, and it's about to have an off-Broadway premiere. And I don't know if anybody cares about that. Let me tell you what it's about.
I care about that.
Right. So Predictor follows the story of Meg Crane, and you can look her up, right? A real human being who was hired by a pharmaceutical company to help market their products for women. And over the course of her tenure there, she was in an office that was in the same place as where they slaughtered the rabbits for pregnancy tests, because that's how you used to do pregnancy tests. It involved killing rabbits. Yeah. In any event, she started thinking about the fact that women had to go to their doctor and wait several days to learn about whether or not they were pregnant. And she took it upon herself to learn sort of the chemistry behind it and how it worked. And she designed the home pregnancy test. And Predictor is what that first home pregnancy test was called, which is where the name of the play comes from. And the play's particular lens, it takes place during a split second. Yes, so it opens at the moment where she has been handed a document by the pharmaceutical company asking her to sign away the rights for the patent, right? And then we see the story of how Predictor came to be. And in the final moment, we see what her decision is. And we explore why she makes the decision she makes. And that is... Yeah, I'm trying to decide whether or not it's a spoiler to tell you what decision she makes. Rest assured, she makes the decision based on what she thinks is going to be most helpful for women. She makes her decision for the greater good. And we are incredibly excited to present this piece. And in addition to sort of following her journey, it moves in and out of these incredible 60s style game shows where you learn little facts and they pop around. And so it really lives in the world of, because Meg Crane was a graphic designer. She wasn't a scientist, she was a graphic designer. And so it sort of lives in the world of those fun 60s graphics, and we pop in and out of these major moments, but also this fun 60s game show. So it's actually it's a really upbeat, like serious stuff, but upbeat, really fun show. And we're super excited to be presenting that here because not many people have done this play, and it's a story everybody needs to hear.
I love it.
Yeah, we're excited. So that's show number 1.
Okay.
Show number 2 is The Wash by Calandra Smith. We'll be doing that in partnership with the studio at 620, October 1 through 11. And we cannot wait. We cannot wait for this one. This follows the story of the 1881 washerwomen's strike. So this is after the Civil War. This is one of the first interracial organized labor, right? They go on strike because they're not getting paid. It coincides with like a cotton convention in Atlanta, and they realize their collective power to make their lives better and to get what they deserve. So it's a beautiful story. Erica Sutherland will be directing again, which we're so excited about. And this is I believe, yes, this is a Florida premiere as well. This is another play, unpublished, that Calandra, the playwright, has been working on, has had a rolling world premiere through the National New Play Network. We're coming a little bit after that, but it will be a Florida premiere, true story. We're really excited. And it's beautifully told. It's just beautifully told with lots of very theatrical elements. It's going to be a visual feast. And we cannot wait. Cannot wait.
I love, for those that don't know, Calandra is one of, in my opinion, my favorite playwrights writing today. She's also a contributor and editor at American Theater Magazine, so the work that she's doing really for the whole field is incredible. She's based in Chicago, and that The Wash is getting its premiere there right now, and so it's so exciting to get to bring such a big monumental piece down to Florida for its first time here.
We are so excited.
That's great.
So excited to be working with her.
I mean, I know we talk a lot about partnership and just how we really find strength together right now, and so doing another production with the studio at 620 I think is really fantastic, and I think building on the success of Cadillac Crew and just what that means for the community to keep modeling what collaboration can really look like is amazing.
Absolutely. And we're intentional about the scripts for that, right? Because they're also scripts that emphasize collaboration, coming together, right? What it means to live together and to do good stuff all together.
Love it.
Me too, obviously.
And then one more show? There's
one more. So this one long-time Powerstories supporters are well familiar with. It is an original musical by Fran Powers called Raising 12 on a Nickel and a Prayer. And it is the true story of her mother, who decided at some point that she wanted 12 kids. And it's really the story of how she made that real. And that's not an easy thing. It's not a simple thing. But it's what she wanted. So it's the story of a woman making her way and getting what she wants. And I gotta say, I think there's an old conversation, right, that some folks were like, she said feminist. Why is she talking about 12 kids? Sorry, I'm just going to do this aside, right? The idea about feminism is that women should get to choose, right, whatever they want. And so we have this sort of vast array, right, of people who want to work and not have kids, people who want to have 12 kids, all of this, right, that the thing is it should be possible. And that whatever women choose to do, right? There's something really valuable there. And so Raising 12 on a Nickel and a Prayer is really a Christmas show, which, despite my sort of lack of religious leanings, Christmas is my favorite time of the year, and I'll tell you exactly why. I realized it was the Christmas lights, and I realized it's all about, and then I looked at all the stories, it's about light in dark times. Yes. That is what that season is about. We do it. We bring evidence of life indoors. When it gets dark, we add lights. It's about light in dark times. And so doing a Christmas show in 2026 absolutely makes sense. And it's heartwarming, right? It's about this marvelous family. It's about Fran's family. And it's sweet. I finally got to listen to the music. The final song made me choke up. And I'm so excited to be bringing this back. We're going to do it in a concert version. We'll be doing it at the studio in HCC Ybor again. So it will be a really intimate, cozy experience. And that will be in December. It closes on the 20th. I can't remember what the opening day was. It might be the 16th. It might be December 16th. So yeah, and that's our season. And so we're really, really excited because all of these touch on the greater good, right? That even something as intimate as a family, right, plants the seeds to create these human beings who are going to go out and contribute to the community. And then the labor movement, right? And it wasn't a formalized one, right? It was collective action, right? Labor organizing, how that contributes to the greater good. And then how one woman's creative process, right, offered something that is literally life-changing for women now. And that's the 2026
That's the
season.
I mean, I think there's so much. All artistic directors put thought and intentionality behind their season, right? But I think when you have such a specific mission, it feels so much more prevalent at times. And I think your season totally speaks to that. And I'm curious, as we start to wrap up, like, we all want butts and seats, obviously. We produce this work so people can see it.
Yes.
But as an organization that is Powerstory size, you said small professional theater, like, what does it actually mean for someone to show up to the theater? Like, what does that mean to you as an artist and to the organization?
Avery, it's everything. It's everything when someone shows up. Because it means we have a chance to connect, right? I think something that I've grown to just love is when we get to talk to people who've seen the show and find out, how did it move you? What are you thinking about now? What are you going out to research now, right? What curiosity, what connection are you making? That's the other thing I love is when people make connections with other people in the lobby during intermission or after the show, and that the show brought them together. It's the reason they're there, but they make new connections. I love making new connections in the lobby. So if you come to a show and you see me, I've got really distinctive hair, come say hi. Please do. But that's how we know we're making an impact.
Yeah.
And so one metric can certainly be how many tickets did you sell. But far more important to us is the opportunity to connect with the people who are there. Yeah. Yes, we need to sell tickets and we need donations to keep being able to do this. Absolutely. And to keep paying artists. But way more important to us is someone coming and having the experience. And if cost is an issue, reach out. We'll find a way. Because that's why we're here. Like we're here to connect and uplift and serve. We're here to serve as storytellers. That's what we do. And that's what we love.
And I think for folks, like, I think we sometimes forget the non-artist theater people in the room of like, if you want to see this work be elevated in our community, showing up is how you affirm that.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
Showing up to a Power Stories production is how you say, I want to see more work by women presented in our community. And I think we live in a time where we are all craving that connection. And if you are sitting at home and you're just like doom scrolling as we all do, and you want that moment of connection, then come show up at a show. Have that moment, even if it is connecting over your hair in the lobby after a production. But I think that in itself is a bright spot, right? That is that moment of like joy and connection through the art. That's what we live to do as theater makers. And I would just urge everyone of like, if you want to see more of this work, then you do need to show up for it.
We do need that. Yeah, we absolutely do need that. And yeah, and I'm a hugger, so, you know, free hugs, probably.
As you like reflect, and as we start to wrap up, reflect on 2025, going into 26, and just the moment that we're living in, what are your thoughts and reflections on everything that the Tampa Bay community is navigating at the moment, and how do you hope we proceed moving forward?
That's a great question. I think, and this was true the last time we spoke, right, that we are looking at a serious shortage of funding, right? And I hate to bring it back to money, but folks are trying to pay rent.
Yeah.
So there's a shortage of funding. There's a gap there, from, you know, what we had government sources that we expected. But also I think some foundations are also rethinking where they're putting things. And so it's, you know, the arts tend to fall to the bottom of the list, for funding priorities, despite the fact that, you know, studies show that, you know, there are more positive health outcomes for folks who get involved in the arts, more positive educational outcomes. All of those things, right, are true, that it turns out it's essential to living a good life. And also, you know, just to throw this in, it's essential for the greater good. And now I've lost track of my thought, but that's okay. Right. So what are we navigating together? There it is. And you just had to give me a minute. So that's one piece, right? And then I think we're still post-pandemic trying to figure out, you know, theater attendance tends to be down, and except for a few certain sort of big monster events, right? So I think we're trying to figure out how best to connect, how best to bring people in. And we're all coming at it from slightly different angles that have to do with, as you pointed out, right, our missions, our specific valence. And we're all trying to figure out what works. But what we all want is to keep the arts alive, to keep conversations happening. So that's, I think, what's going on in Tampa is going on in a lot of different places.
For sure.
I think, you know, the thing I'm most excited about is continuing to partner with different organizations and figure out how do we connect not just our artistic aims and our organizations, but how do we connect our audiences, right? How do we bring those together? How do we grow both together? Because at the end of the day, right, we want to connect with the community, but we also want community members to connect with each other. Yes. Right? As we face what is sometimes just a really hostile reality.
Totally.
Yeah. Like, how do we do that together? Yeah. I want to know, who do I need to call if I know someone who needs an underground railroad out of here? Like, I want to know, right, how do we build those networks? And one of the ways we do that is come around stories we all support. So, yeah.
That was beautiful. Last time you were here, You did our rapid fire questions to end it, so I don't think it's fair to ask you the same questions.
I agree.
So I have 2 questions that I did not prepare you with.
Okay, I think that's fair.
But I would love to know my 2 questions for you. I'll tell you both of them so you have a minute to think. 1, what has been your favorite moment in 2025 as we wrap up the year? And 2, if there is one person in the community you could shout out and give some flowers to, who would it be? So let's start with, what's your favorite moment of 2025?
I think my favorite moment, I thought I was going to keep this private.
Oh,
but I'm not going to. I think, honestly, my favorite moment was I was standing in the VOM hallway at Stageworks on closing night of Ada and the Engine. And I'm not a big crier, actually. But we were in the final moment, and Kayla was doing her thing, and the lights were going. It was really pretty. It was just really pretty at the end of that play. And I just started sobbing, and it was because I was like, well, I don't know where the world is going, and whether or not I'm going to get to be somewhere where people could freely come see a show, where we could create theater, right? There was that apocalyptic sense in me. I don't know how much longer I'm going to get to do this. I don't know where the world is going. I don't know what's going to change. So there was that, right? So there was a little bit of grieving in advance, some terror, but then it was just appreciation, right? That we get to do this at all. That we get to come together, that people got to come see this show, that Alexa got to direct her first professional production, that we got to offer that opportunity to someone who's so wonderful and so deserving, that we got to be in Stageworks, right, run by our friends Carla and Heather, right? We got to spend 2 weeks, right, in a building with people we love, with a group of incredible actors who I adore, an incredible tech crew, right? Because what I love is playing with my friends, right? And so this was realizing that that is beautiful. And that's why I was sobbing, is because it was just so beautiful to get to do all of those things all at once. And also, though, the realization that I don't know how long, right? I don't know what's coming. And so I know that's a dark a little bit, but that's been my favorite moment.
I love it.
So, yeah.
And then, if you could give flowers to anyone you want to shout out.
Oh, it's Erica. You know it's Erica Sutherland. You know it is. Of course it's Erica Sutherland at the studio at 620. She, in addition to being a phenomenal friend, right, and someone with just the biggest heart, she has such creative vision. And on top of that, just this brilliant organizational mind and such determination that is not, that includes this beautiful practicality, right? Like, she knows what she wants, she can see it, and she figures out how. And she's Erica Sutherland, y'all. Like, if you haven't met her, I'm really sorry. Figure out how. And if you're not supporting the studio at 620, do it. Because her vision for that, and also her commitment to collaborating, to partnerships, it's innovative and it's brilliant, and it really is the path forward. So, you know it's Erica. Of course it's Erica.
I feel like we cannot give Erica enough flowers. flowers. So I
exactly drown her
second
in
it
flowers.
wholeheartedly. Well, thank you so much for coming back on, being our first repeat guest.
Thanks for having me.
You are going to have this moment in history forever. Yay. And if you are listening, please go support Power Stories, see a show, donate, and continue to support works by women in our community. Thank you so much, Clareann. Once again, thank you so much to Clareann for coming on to our final episode of 2025. I really appreciate her spending the time to exist in space with us. It's one of my favorite things to do. Thank you for listening to another episode. Thank you for continuing to support us as this organization grows and we continue to find out and discover together how is the best way to advocate for this thriving, multifaceted, amazing community that we have here in Tampa Bay. Please continue to like, follow, support. Please continue to look out for our book clubs in 2026, our other events. And just I hope that you have a wonderful 2025 as it wraps up, and that you go into 2026 refreshed, renewed, and in a collaborative, creative spirit. That is my hope for you as you finish off the year. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Avery Anderson. I don't know why I told you my name because you probably know who that is. But thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.